Welcome back, DJ Vic Vapor with you again. And in the previous lesson, we looked at manipulating the pitch of our beats loop over here. And in this lesson, I want to take a look at, I've got a little piano sample here. I'll let you hear what it sounds like. So just like a nice traditional house music piano loop. So let's look at how we can manipulate the pitch of this with using our LFO over a period of time. So let's go back again to our controls, and I'm going to open up the actual wave file so that we can see it while we're down here manipulating. So to do that, there's a little triangle right here next to the name of the file. Click that guy, and then you've got a display. You can minimize, open, close, and heighten, lower, whatever you need to do. Just a nice visual for us to have available. Plus there's some things over here we want access to while we're doing this as well. So your LFO on off button is right here. It may be on or off depending on how yours is set, but if you need to turn it on, right there it is. So what we need to do first of all, since we're going to work with pitch, is we need to give this an amount, a pitch amount. Currently it's set at 0. So let's just bump it up, say, I'll just go 100 so we get a good example here of what we're trying to hear and listen to. So let's hear what that does, just moving the pitch up to 100 using this sinusoidal LFO wave that's already set in here for us, just to see what kind of sounds we get just by doing that. So pretty cool. You can hear the pitch kind of almost following the exact design of the wave, but not very musical in a sense that we could probably really put it to use. So one of the ways we can accomplish maybe finding a more rhythmical or useful pattern out of this would be to come over and look at our transients and our selecting what we've got for a warp mode. So currently, with the transients being preserved the way they are, essentially the LFO is basically being triggered, and it's searching out the highest transient and being triggered by the transient. That's just kind of the simplest way to explain what's going on there. But what we can do is come over to our warp mode and select, say, something like complex. And let's hear how that might change the sound for us. Again, it's not really too musically sensible, but you start to see almost an image of this exact waveform. And it's kind of not really going along with maybe, say, the beat of the song. Let's turn our beats on and hear it all together. So it's not really following the beat in any way, and it's currently being indicated down here by hertz. So if we wanted to maybe follow along with the beats, we want to select the note signature next to it, and then we can actually determine if we want 16th, 12th, whatever beat division we would like, we can select here. So let's find, I want to work with quarter notes. Oh, there it was. Oh, okay, there it is. So let me hear that. Same thing, but it's getting closer to the beat that we want to hear, or at least being more rhythmical. So again, we're working with this sinusoidal wave, but if we drop or open this menu here, we can select, square, up, down, and then the sawtooth down or up to down, and down to up, and then random. But let's try the square. And essentially what this is going to allow us to do is the pitch is going to rise up here, 100%, and then come back down here to 0. And it's basically going to be going on and off, but it's going to be doing it at every quarter note. So that's starting to become a little bit more interesting, a little bit more something maybe we could consider working with. So let's see. The pitch is a little exaggerated. Let's see what happens if we bring that guy down to say like 50. See if that sounds a little bit better for us. Again, something still a little bit more interesting, but I think there's a little bit more we can do with this. Let's take and go back and work with our beats algorithm here. I think maybe we can figure out another way to make this slightly more interesting. So, see, I like that. That's getting pretty interesting. Let's hear it with the beats. And just for comparison's sake, here's what the original loops sound like. Well, I guess I can't turn that off, but let me turn off the LFO. Now let's hear it back with our LFO adjustments. So quite a transformation to the loop overall. But one of the things we can focus on now is, since we're back in the beats algorithm, we can actually open up the transients here, and we can select a division for this to work with as well. So let's just try something like eighth divisions. So what's happening now is the loops, or the transients, are actually cycling through loops in between the beats, in between the quarter or the eighth note beat division that we've selected here. What we can do to eliminate that is select this first arrow here, and this will be, it'll create more of a slicing sound as opposed to a loop start stop sound. So. And clearly that's getting a lot closer to something more musical that we can take advantage of. So let's hear it again with the beats. So pretty cool transformation there on the loop overall, just by making a few subtle adjustments between our algorithms over here with our transients and our beats, and then of course adjusting our pitch, percentage, and selecting what LFO type we would want to take advantage of. So let's move on to the next lesson and see what else we can accomplish with simpler.